Welcome back to the Triple M Show. Today, I am your host, Ebenezer, and I am with some very special guests.
Noble Tanaka.
Dindo Sinamodzi.
And today, we'll be discussing self esteem, self worth, and decision making. Let's jump into the episode. Hey guys, I have a lot of faith in today's discussion because you guys look like our topics for today. So I'm looking forward to having this discussion with you guys. Are you guys ready?
Yes,
Yes.
most definitely.
To start off with the question I've been wanting to ask. This is my guys need to answer here properly.
Yeah.
How would you describe your self-worth and what do you think influences it the most?
I would describe self-worth as the ability to have confidence in yourself. I would describe self-worth as not decreasing your moral standards to suit other people, because you know how much you're worth as a person. And so that's what I would describe self-worth is. Basically, you're not decreasing your moral or values just to suit other people. So what influences my self-worth is, I would say, the Bible. My parents influenced my self-worth. I was taught growing up that this is how you should be as a young man. This is how you should be as a man. The Bible also substantiates my parents' teachings to me. The Bible says this is how a man is. This is how a man should be. So yeah, that's what influences my self-worth.
Yeah. Dean?
To add on to him, first I'd like to distinguish what self-worth is. Self-worth, in mundane terms, layman's terms, it's more of how much you value yourself, right? And as humans, we value ourselves with vanities, right? With things, with successes, cars, jewelry, fame, how people view you is how you view your self-worth, right?
Mhm.
In mundane terms. But in biblical terms, self-worth is more of understanding one thing, that Jesus Christ died for you, right? And God let his son, his only begotten son, die for us. So then you value yourself that such great beings died for me. And that self-worth does not associate with things or anything. It's just associated with those figures, God, the Holy Spirit, the Son, and all of that. That's how I see self-worth is. Which self-worth are you believing in? The mundane self-worth or the Christian self-worth? So that's how I see self-worth as.
Amen.
Explained it in depth.
Yeah, I like that you also try to connect it from a Christian's perspective because I feel like it's completely different when you look at it as outside of the church and inside. And it's very important to know where you stand and it can help you to guide your decision making as a Christian as well as a young person.
Yeah.
My next question is, do you think that you feel valued in your community? And if you do, why? If you don't, why not?
When you mean community exactly,
Like people
as in the
around
people around
you,
me.
yeah.
I do believe that I do feel valued
Mhm.
within my community, simply because of the amount of impact I have on them, or rather the amount of input I have in my community, which makes me feel valued in my community, such that, for an example, let's say a church, I do feel valued at church simply because of the work of the Lord that I'm doing and the position that I'm serving at church as a personal ministries assistant director. So that's just an example. That's how I feel valued because of the amount of impact I have and also the work that I'm doing. That's what makes me feel valued in my community. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on his take is superb. In order to feel valued, you have to give value essentially.
Yeah.
Then
Exactly,
you can
yeah.
be a valued member in a community. He gave an example of church. Can give you an example at school. For example, if you're a head boy at school, you're giving value. You're leading, and essentially the teachers, the your what is this, your friends, the peers,
Peers,
whatever, they'll
yeah.
see the value that you bring, to the table. Then you feel value. So values are two-way street. In order to be valued, you have to give something of value.
True, true. And I feel like you do give quite a lot of value even at church. You present and all of that, and I feel it's nice to to give value because it shows that people wanna hear what you have to give. People wanna receive what you can give. And I feel like more communities should allow the youth to be able to put their input.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My next question. What role does your relationship with others have on your self-worth or your self-esteem?
What role does my relationship with others have for my self-esteem? It can vary, because I have different types of relationships with
Mm-hmm.
different types of people, you know. Um, Let me give an example with my friends. My friends, we have a good relationship, we have a positive relationship. When I mess up, my friends are not afraid to tell me that, Noble, you did one, two, three, one, two, three, which is wrong. This is not how we know you. So it's like, probably to a certain extent, my friends can know me better than I know myself. So then one thing I like is they correct me when I'm wrong, which impacts me positively. My self-esteem can increase, the confidence, or rather, let me give an example with public speaking. I do
Mm-hmm.
public speaking too. When my friends applaud me for public speaking, I have more confidence that, oh, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that goes behind the stage of public speaking or behind the stage of preaching. I can feel nervous, I can feel like, oh, I can't do this, or
Yeah.
this wasn't meant for me. But now when I actually do it, when I deliver what I'm supposed to do and my friends come applaud me for it, my self-esteem increases. I have more confidence, like, oh, I can actually do this thing. Also, when I mess up, my friends are able to help me navigate the right way. And one thing I like is that they're not judgmental, because they understand that we humans, we make mistakes. So that's the positive impact that relationships that I have with people can influence my self-esteem
Mm.
and my self-worth, like you
Mm.
say. And then also, a negative way can be, sometimes we growing people face challenges of peer pressure. You
Yeah.
know, I can get peer pressured into doing stuff that are not of my moral and
Mm.
values, you see. So when that happens now, my self-worth, knowing the person that I am, let's say people find out that, oh, Noble was caught smoking, Noble was caught drinking. I don't drink and smoke,
Mm.
but it's just an example. But people will be like, oh, this is not who we know Noble for. This is not the type of Noble that we know. So then it feels like, oh, I don't value myself anymore the way
Yeah.
I value myself. My self-esteem, how am I able to face the people that know me for good deeds when
Yeah.
I'm doing bad deeds, you see? So that can influence me, or rather that can decrease my self-worth and my
Yeah.
self-esteem.
Do you mind repeating your question again?
Okay. What role does your relationship with others have on your self-esteem or your self-worth?
Okay. I think it depends on who you are.
Okay.
I think not it necessarily depends on who you are, but I
Mm.
feel like you have to know who you are. He spoke about that while he was talking, and once you know what type of person you are, your virtues, your principles, then you know what role other people play in influencing your self-esteem, your self-worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know myself to be this, that, this, that. If I'm around a certain group of people, then whatever influence or role they play, whatever influence they have, it does not co-align with who I am. So they cannot play an influence or on my self-worth or my self-esteem, because they are not the people that are aligned with me or what I want in my life. You understand?
Okay.
So it's all about knowing what type of person you are, who you are. So I think it's basically, you have to know yourself before you can allow people before you find people that play a role on your self-esteem. I think that's what I have on the take.
Do you think you can have a relationship or be friends with people who don't have a role in your life? I feel like in some way, even in some small way, people do play a role in your life, even if it's very, very small.
No, true. Everyone plays a role in your life, but remember, it's your life. You allow them to play that certain role in your life. You decide whether that role that they play has a role in your life because it's your life at the end of the day. If you get what I'm saying.
But it's not that easy for everyone, though. I think maybe I'm really gonna take that point you said on you need to know who you are, because some people can be easily influenced.
Yeah.
Some people are more strong in who they are because maybe they've taken the time to know who they are. And for those who don't know who they are, I can have a group of friends, bad or good influences. I just take whatever they give me. I digest any habit they have, even if I know it's not good for me. So I can say that it varies. It varies from person to person, from what you said.
But don't they? That's who they are.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm
Okay.
saying,
Yeah.
that's who they
Okay. I
are.
hear you.
If they allow that certain influence to affect the role in their life, that's
That's
who
who
they
they
are.
are.
You understand?
Okay.
And they allow this and they see this as right. That's who they are. That's what I'm saying. That it doesn't matter how strong or rigid you are. Its influence is decided on based on the things that you were taught, who you are, your
Your
parents'
moral, your
teachings.
principles.
Yeah. If you went to church or not, if you went to this or that, it's based on the role that has been played down from you in the background, and that you have allowed. You attract those things. You understand? Consciously or non-consciously. I hate the fact that people think that you have to be strong or what to detach yourself from negative influences in life or what. You have to just know that this is
Not
who I
something
am.
for
Yeah,
you.
this is not
Yeah.
what's not for me. You don't have to have some sort of mental strength or anything. I think that is just a way of
An
saying,
excuse.
yeah, it's an excuse. I think
Yes.
we making it as an excuse, especially in the youth. It's an
Yeah.
excuse. That's my take on the matter.
Okay. That is a very good point.
Mm.
And as you were speaking,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask this question later on in the discussion, but I wanted to ask, in your community, do you feel that they make it easier or harder to grow from making mistakes, or not? And if so, why or why not?
Do I feel like they
In your
make it hard?
community, yeah, do they make it easier or do they make it harder for you to grow and learn from mistakes without judgment, or yeah?
No, they make it very easy to grow from mistakes. Reason being is because they are straightforward in what they say. They wouldn't beat around the bush and try to incorporate many factors as to why I did this. They'll come and tell me straight that this is how it's all supposed to be done. This is how it's supposed to be, which then doesn't create any room for me to negotiate with them because my community, most of them are old. The old have experienced life than me.
Okay.
They've seen the way. Others have paved the way. So their wise words are very impactful in my life. So which makes it very easy for me to grow from my mistakes. Because if it was in the event that they would make it hard for me to grow from my mistakes, then I feel like probably I'd be more naughty.
Then yeah, you've
No, no,
grown.
not that you are.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be more naughty because
Okay.
I'll find a reason. I'll always find a reason.
To do
Why are they
better.
saying this? Why are they not saying this? Why are they saying this? And then in me trying to find out the real reason as to why they're saying this, I'll be more naughty. So it's better they say straightforward, of which they do. Then I know that, oh, yeah, I'm actually wrong. I was supposed to do this. I was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I learned from my mistake. Next time I encounter the same situation, it's a different response. Exactly.
I think I I'm disagreeing with him. I think they make it hard
Okay.
because um, society, let's give it Christian society, you have expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right? When let's say you're born into a church, and you grew up in that church and stuff, and there's expectations for you to be one day deacon, elder, all of
Yeah.
that stuff, right? And then there's that fact of when you make mistakes that don't co-align or align with those expectations,
Mm.
um, people are very, okay, let me just say, older people, they're rigid, in their ways, and they don't understand that you're growing up, you
Mm.
make mistakes,
Mistakes.
you understand,
Yeah.
they condemn you. And I think that's why, the youth are lacking in church,
Yeah.
because they judge, and it's not right to judge, you
Yeah.
understand. And sometimes, as youth, when you're judged by people that you see as, yo, this is my elder, this is my uncle, this is my whatever, when they judge you, you feel lost, you feel hurt, and you
Yeah.
wanna go, because you're young, you're immature,
Yeah.
you're we base our decisions mostly on feelings, because that's
Mm.
the age we're in, you understand. So I feel like even in the church, even at school or anywhere, you make a mistake, and your teachers, your staff, everyone, they'll look at you and say, this is not what we expected from you, because they
Mm.
have their own expectations for you. So society's expectations are very, yeah, they impact us a lot, and they don't understand that we are youth, we make mistakes. It's a very few people that will understand that fact, that
Mm.
as you're young, you're gonna make mistakes, be it at school, be it at church, be it going into the what is this? Going into work. You understand? You make mistakes, and you need someone to be there for you, to coach you and say, hey, listen, Ebenezer, you made a mistake, you did this and this and that,
Mm.
I'm with you, let's do that, but then others will condemn you. And then
Yeah.
when they condemn you, you won't learn
You're
from
not
that mistake, you
learning.
understand.
Yeah.
There's an age where a child stops being hidden by the parents, you
Mm-hmm.
understand, because the parents know that at this age, hitting is not going to do anything.
Mm.
I have to talk to my child, I have to do this. There's a different type of way of disciplining. So I think society is not, they haven't, gotten up with that, especially, the culture of yeah, the tradition, I think they look at it the way they were raised. They were raised differently, and we are raised differently because of how the world is different at
Mm.
this time than it was at that time.
And when you like when you're speaking,
Mm.
I can think of many events where I've invited people to
Yeah,
church and they never wanted to come back.
yeah,
They are new to the SDA church. They don't know how things happen. Maybe
yeah.
they are wearing pants.
Mm, mm, mm,
And I think all our older people should
mm,
find that as an opportunity to educate, to guide,
mm,
instead of to judge. And I would agree with you because I've seen it for myself.
mm,
And you should be really grateful for the community you have. I think it's something that we should really appreciate
mm.
when we are surrounded by people who can help us and teach us, and not to immediately come to judge
Yeah.
when we make mistakes, because we are all human. No one is perfect. No one
Yeah.
is perfect. And yeah, that was my question.
Something, I beg your
Yeah,
pardon.
you can.
Something came to mind though,
Mm-hmm.
but in the form of a question.
Okay.
If people have expectations in us, don't they see that there's something great in us that we don't see in ourselves?
Yeah, I hear you. Expectations aren't wrong, but I feel like it's not fair to have those expectations and not be prepared for things that could go wrong, because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. Anything can happen. Anything can, and more than ever, I think this is one thing Christians should understand more than anyone, because God has a plan for us. We don't know that plan.
Yeah.
And now we are writing everyone's life, saying this should be the standard for you. This is God. God has a plan for each and every one of us. We don't know what that plan is, and as much as we can hope for the best by having expectations, that is not a guarantee. All we can do is trust and pray and try and be the best versions of ourselves while abiding by God's word, because we don't know the future.
Amen.
Do you have something to say?
I hear you.
So, when making a big decision,
Yes.
do you rely more on advice or personal experience?
Oh, can you rely on both?
Which one would you rely on more? Because I'm pretty sure you would rely on both, but which one do you feel like you use more, advice or personal experience?
Okay, I'd feel like advice is more worth it for me because before I go through the experience, I may need the advice.
Okay.
You know, in the sense that another person could have went through the same situation, probably not congruent but similar. Similar situation that I'm going through, right, or that I'm about to go through, and their advice would have helped me so that I do not go through that situation and do not end up the way they ended up. So I would prefer advice than personal experience.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
I reckon that advice is better, but personal experience is more effective.
Okay.
Because advice, when someone advises you, right, they've been through that thing, right? That's why they're called wise people. Um, they're not wise because they are clever and stuff. It's because like they've been through it, they've made mistakes, they have regrets, so they can advise you best. So they know because they've been through it. You understand? But then personal experience is the best teacher because it hurts.
You'll never forget.
Exactly, it's pain. You don't want to do the same thing. It's like a
Yeah.
child when there's a stove there and he puts his hand, he takes it off. He'll know that, hey, next time I'm not doing this thing.
Yeah.
Understand? So, yeah, they both valuable, but advice is more, it's superb. It's, this person has been through this certain thing. It's trusted. But then, thingy is more of the best teacher. It's personal experience, and that is quality.
True. What would you say, as a young person, that was the hardest decision you had to make? Want something more personal? Let me hear your story.
Personal.
Hardest decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a lot, brother. It's a lot. No, maybe he can answer. Let me
Okay.
choose
Oh,
the
no.
best one. Let me choose the best one.
You want personal?
Yeah, like,
I'll give you general.
okay.
No, okay. The hardest decision I've ever made is, um, let me not say ever made, that I'm still making,
Okay.
is being myself.
Okay.
You understand? It's very hard to be yourself. And sometimes you find yourself color fading,
Yeah.
Yeah, like at school, I'm this type of person. At
Mm.
church, I'm this type of person. When
Mm.
I'm out with my friends, I'm this type of person. You understand? So being yourself is very difficult, because then you want to fit in. You
Yeah.
understand? Everyone wants to fit in, no matter what they say. He wants to fit in, I want to fit in, you want to fit in. You understand? But then at what cost?
Okay.
You taking a part of yourself, and God is there, and you
And
feel that
watching you.
guilt, and your mom said, hey sonny, you must be like this, but then you're changing.
Yeah.
So the hardest decision I've ever made is, and I'm still making, is being myself, around people where this and this and that, taking my principles, my virtues from my mother, from my father, from church, and bringing it here or there. It's very difficult.
People can judge you.
Yeah, people judge me, and you are put there as this type of person. It happens a lot at school, and it happens a lot even in the workspace. My dad's always telling me that, when you want to do something right, or you don't want to do a certain type of thing because that thing doesn't align with you, people will judge you. You understand? And then that thing has negative effects. So then it's not that's why they say it's not easy to be a Christian. It's the hardest
It's
thing. It's
hard.
the hardest thing ever to have virtues and stuff. Even with besides being Christians, but being having virtues from your parents, from your family, and you're trying to uphold those virtues. It's very hard because people are not the same. Are not the same people. You understand? And people have different types of views. I don't eat pork. This one eats pork. If I say there's an event where they dishing out pork and stuff like that, and
It's
I
like
Feel
say,
you
like
think
you're
you're
rude.
yeah,
better.
not
Yeah.
even rude like I'm better than
Yeah.
someone. It happened with my friends. Sometimes we used to share lunch, and I said, I don't eat pork. And then, hey, your friends be like, yo, on type of thing, you understand? And you think that, yeah, man, let me just take it. It's calm, it's
Did you take
food.
it?
No, let's not answer the question. But at the same time, you feel like, yeah, you're lacking and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I think that's the hardest decision I've ever made.
I hear you.
The hardest decision I've ever made is not conforming to worldly patterns.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is the hardest decision I've ever made. You know, it's so nice out there in the world,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can get drowned.
You can lose
You
it.
can lose yourself there.
Mm.
You know, because as a person who's been called to do God's work, as a person who preaches, as a person who goes to church, Bazalwane, there's a lot.
Mm.
There's a lot. Your friends are saying, "Let's do this. Let's rock." Now it's time to rock. Now you want to do it, but you have to literally restrain yourself. You know, because you can feel like, if I do it here, it's going to be nice, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go deeper. Let me go deeper.
Go deeper.
You know, like, uh, my friends. Okay, let me not say my friends, but my acquaintances. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them have already proved their manhood before marriage,
Okay.
and we know what the Bible clearly says about that. And sometimes when you think about it, you feel like I would enjoy myself in this moment,
Ne.
but it's just for the moment.
Mm.
It's not a lifetime thing, or rather, it can affect you for a lifetime.
Mm.
We look at David. It was a generational sin
Ish.
when he saw Uriah's wife and he slept with her. It now affected him. The son raped the daughter, and it was just a lot. So, not conforming to worldly patterns is the hardest decision I've ever made. Because literally, you feel nice. You see, it's nice there, it's nice there, but you can drown in trying to fit in. And so that's the hardest decision I've ever made, and I thank God for it. Because looking at where some of them are, it's you'd feel pity for them.
Yeah.
You'd wish you could help them. Like, you'd wish, if I had the finances, if I had the powers to control their decision making, you
You
would.
would.
But unfortunately, we are not God, you know, and we cannot operate the way God does, you know. Cannot have the powers that He has. You
Mm.
see, so that's my check. Not conforming to worldly patterns. Like, that is the hardest decision I've ever made. But looking where I am now, I could say I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Knowing what my parents have taught me, what my mother has taught me, what my father has taught me, you know, finish school, get your money, live your life. You know, also them at some point they were like, we don't want you here at home, man. Go away, you know.
Yeah.
So knowing that every time I'm about to make a decision, their
You think of
teachings, I think of them.
Mm.
And plus looking where I am, the position that I am in my life, looking like as let me not say being a firstborn, everybody looks up to you. Your brothers look up to you. Your parents also, they're like, you
There's
know,
an
they have
expectation.
an expectation like, this is our firstborn son. He's carrying the air of our family, he's carrying the name of our family. So also the thought of, I'm gonna disappoint my parents, I'm gonna disappoint my family. My brothers look up to me, I'm gonna disappoint my brothers. It would be a disgrace. I would be a disgrace, but I thank God, because God does really work. So the hardest
That's
decision is not
beautiful.
conforming to what you pattern. But something came to mind again
Mm-hmm.
when you was talking about personal experience and advice. Let me give it a scenario. Okay, in another universe, you know, you've seen your friend get heartbroken by a girl. Eh, we're taking personal experience and advice. You've seen your friend get heartbroken by a girl, and you are probably going to go through the same situation. Do you know a heartbreak? A heartbreak in general, it breaks. It breaks the heart. It takes time to heal. The heart takes time. You know, and then you're about to go through that same situation. Would you want to experience that heartbreak, or you take the advice so that you do not experience that heartbreak? Because you know a heartbreak, my friend. You take care by yourself now. You have no one. Would you want to go through that painful experience when you could have avoided it?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Like I said, it's more effective going through it because now I know.
Yeah.
And
You
then
know
at
how
the same
bad.
time, the advice is the best thing, right? Because then I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But then I've been through heartbreak, unfortunately. Who hasn't? You
Yeah.
understand?
It's,
You haven't. I'm joking.
you're in for a ride.
You're in
No.
for that. But you've been, you get that one person that makes you, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then, yeah. So having been through the heartbreak, and I look at it now and I say, um, if I had a choice of like, would I do that again, or would I just, have
Yeah.
listened to someone that said, "Oh, this girl's dangerous, bro. Don't do that." You feel
Uh,
me? But then I think I'll just say, no, let me go through it, because at the same time, I understand
how it feels.
how it feels. I understand
Yeah.
relationships more better. You
Because
understand?
of that.
Because of that heartbreak, it makes me a
Mm.
better person. You understand? So I'd say, um, both are great, but in that case of you where you're talking about this, I'd rather go through the heartbreak.
You know, now that
It makes
now that
sense.
you're speaking, I actually agree. I think personal experience with certain circumstances is better,
Mm,
especially with this one of heartbreak.
mm,
You need to feel it for yourself
yeah.
because I think before you get to that point of having your first heartbreak, ne,
Mm,
you're in your Disney mindset. Oh, I can change hair.
Delusional.
Shem, you need that heartbreak to fix you. And I feel like it allows you to open doors where you set a standard for yourself, you set boundaries, you make rules for yourself, and it makes you stricter in a good way because
mm,
this generation is evil, guys. Like, you
yeah.
really need to have rules, strict rules. And without that heartbreak, I think you don't get to that level of strictness with yourself. I
Yeah.
think with dating, you need personal experience. You need personal
And
experience.
another thing I wanted to say was when he was talking,
Mm-hmm.
I found something that I didn't like.
Okay.
It's that thing where um, parents, right,
Okay.
are religious or not religious,
Mm-hmm.
they want to protect the child, right, from
Mm-hmm.
everything, which is right in a certain age.
Mm.
There's an age where um, you no longer need that protection. You understand? Because you're on your own ish, if you get what I'm saying. You're going
Yeah.
out in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like high school.
Yeah.
From grade 1R to 7, um, hey, you're under your parents and everything. Even let's say in 8 and 9, grade 10, you start making subject choices. You're thinking about your own future, your own self.
Mm.
Grade 10 is the glow up era. That's what I call it, the glow up era. Every boy grows up in grade 10. You start bathing, you
Maybe
start
at your
looking at
school.
girls.
Yeah.
You start being proper,
Okay.
you understand?
Yeah.
And girls look nice. You want to open up to new experiences.
Okay.
People are drinking, they vaping, they smoking. There's this and this and that. You want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
indulge in experiences. You want to fit in. You want to have fun. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? That's
Yeah.
fun. That's worldly fun. You want to join
Mm-hmm.
in. And then you find your parents are so, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It might seem right, that, hey, Ebenezer, don't go out there. I know these things. I know this, that. But Ebenezer needs to go out there and impact her own learnings from her mom, from church, and be like, yo, this is not for me, gang.
Yeah,
You
to
understand?
see.
Yeah, this is not for me. She has to see it on her own. You understand? I know it's a bit, especially in church, if we say this, it's a bit like, yeah, it's crazy. But
I
I'll
hear
give you a
you.
biblical version, the three Hebrew boys. You understand?
Yeah.
They went through trial and trial and trial, but they kept to their virtues, who
Yeah.
they are, because
Final
they were
test.
taught in the home, at church, to be this, that. Then they were brought out in the world, right? And then themselves then decided that this is not for me.
Mm.
I know this because God is, wada wada wada. That's why I say salvation is personal. It's you. It's your connection with God, your journey with God. Even because that child eventually, Ebenezer, you will then be out of your parents' home at university. You're going next year. You're going to college. You're going somewhere. You're gonna you're gonna, what is this? See those things. You understand?
Now it's
And
no
now
guidance.
they too new to you. You understand?
Mm.
They very new, and you've been protected for a long time.
Yeah.
And those people that protected you are no longer there. So then
You wanna do everything.
you wanna do everything. I wanna backbone. So hence that you must go through, parents must let you say, okay, hey, you wanna go to this party, go to this party. You know, there of course there are rules. I'll
Yeah.
feed you at this time, your curfew is this time, your dinner is
Yeah.
this time, your thing is that time. And when you go to that party, when you see people who smoke, who drink,
You're like, nah.
hey, let's say you try it. Let's say you try it, you understand?
Okay.
And once you try it, you know, I think we like to be too religious, too perfect as people from,
Okay.
yeah, as Christians. We think that these things won't happen to us. You know, there are people that these things they happen. You know, even the elders that sit in church, they've tasted alcohol, they've done this, they've done that, and now they these men who are so great that we look up to, you understand? So
Mhm.
all I'm saying is that those things do happen. We do get corrupted. We are people. We indulge in sin. And when we try and look like, hey, mina ngingcwele ngcwele, I'm perfect,
Okay.
then you don't attract those people who are not perfect. You understand? Because they'll think that, no, you think you're too good for us. You know, you're at this stage. But if you open up and say, listen, I've been here, I've done this and this and that, you understand? And you sympathize with them and you show them there's a better way of doing this. You don't even have to speak to them, but you show them by your actions. Like
Mhm.
in church, if someone comes in with a crazy outfit, you know, it's typical stereotypes, short skirts, earrings, you know, crazy hair, you know, and that's how we view it as Christians, right?
Yeah.
And if Tanaka here says he's an elder there at that church, right? And he says, hey, this is not it. You know, you're so rigid. You tell them to get out, you know, in some type of way by your actions, right? They won't come. They won't come again. And you have lost them and you have disappointed God. But if you let them come in, if you welcome them, you don't even have to tell them. People don't like being told that, no, this is a short skirt, this is earrings, this is that. If you just be yourselves, it will attract them to see that, no, I feel out of place. These are my people, and they wear clothes like this and this and that. Let me also join in on that.
Okay.
Then they become changed, not by you, by God and themselves, because they have made that decision
Okay.
based on the surroundings. But now, if you tell someone, you know, I've
Being a
realized telling something,
detector. Yeah.
they'll feel a certain type of way. Ngani was
They don't
stubborn. You know
want.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll feel like, no, this is not. You feel like you're better than me or something like that. But if we show them through our actions, through who we are, through our love, then they'll decide and say, no, I want to join this person. The same way if you go to that party and you're with your friends and you show them, no, we can have fun without drinking, guys. We can play 30 seconds, not spin the
At
bottle.
the club.
You see what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So you can do those certain
His
type of
parents didn't
things.
allow you to that party. When his parents watch now, they're gonna say go for the party.
Yo.
Yeah, I have agendas. I have secret agendas.
I'm glad you elaborated because
Yeah.
Okay, I know
um
you.
we're having this discussion at church the other time. I
Yeah.
don't think you were there. I couldn't hear you.
Don't
Yeah.
start. Yeah.
We're having a debate on to what extent can we compromise as Christians and stick to our faith, because it really does get to a point, hey, and we can see this in our churches
Mm.
today. Like, really, I think we're low key going off
Yeah, yeah,
topic,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's fine. With some churches, you can see like it's giving gospel club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To a certain extent, we can compromise, and then it's like
It's now
now,
part of the church, you know.
yeah, now
Yeah.
that nonsense is part
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
church.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like we should also be very cautious
Yeah.
of how much we
Compromising.
we compromise to try and accept people, because I'm not saying judging is a no. No one
Yeah,
is
yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to. Judging is for
It's
God
for God.
only.
Mm.
And I think that's what we need to understand as a church, as and I'm glad that we speak about these things as young people, because we are creating a space for this in the new generation of the church. Yeah, okay. That brings me to my last question, guys.
Okay.
For the viewers, what advice can you give to other young people who struggle with confidence and healthy self-esteem? What can you say to them?
I personally feel like it's a mindset thing.
Okay.
What you tell your mind is how you perceive yourself. If you tell your mind that you cannot do it, then you won't do it. But if you tell your mind you can do it, then you will do it. I've seen it. I've tested it, in the sense that, like, let me give the example again of public speaking. When I was just starting, I told myself that this thing is for people who are of
Mm,
eloquence, it's for
mm,
people who
mm,
are of influence.
mm, mm,
You
mm,
don't need to say big words when
mm,
you're public speaking. You don't
mm.
need to be a a person of society in order for you to do public speaking.
Yeah.
You just need to have the ability to have communication skills, basic communication skills, so that you can convey the message, so that whatever you're trying to say, people can understand what you're trying to say. So I'll tell yourself that whenever you feel you cannot do it, tell yourself you can do it. It's
Mm.
just a mindset thing. How Whatever you register in your mind, it's
It comes
that's how
true.
it sticks. You
Mm.
see. And now when you actually do the thing that you thought you couldn't do, now you have more confidence. You have more faith in yourself that, come another obstacle, I'm able to perceive it. Come another obstacle, I'm able to go through that
Overcome.
obstacle. So I believe, genuinely tell yourself you can do it. Another trick is, have a note, right? A note probably that you can keep at the back of your phone or at your mirror. Every time you wake up, probably when you're done having your prayers, as a personal devotion, look at what the note says. Right? Tell yourself, write on the note, I am worthy, I am confident, all the good stuff about yourself. And
Mm.
it's like an affirmation to yourself. It's like you're reassuring yourself every day that you can do this thing. There's nothing that you can't do
Mm.
in this life. You can't do this thing. So I believe that thing has really helped. It was actually told to me by my Afrikaans teacher in grade 8. It says, if you don't have confidence in yourself, write a note, always keep it at the back of your phone, or just put it on your wall. Every time you wake up, check out that note. Or if you know that, hey, your confidence skills are really bad, have it at the back of your phone. Just turn your phone, you reassure yourself. That actually helps. That actually helps. Over time, you gain the confidence over time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what he's saying is superb, because I think people, when we look at TV propaganda,
Yeah.
we see this macho, confident guy. He gets the girls, he gets the perfect job, he
That's
gets the money, he
confidence.
has the car. I think when we see that on even social media lifestyle, when we see
Yeah.
that, we associate things with confidence. You
Mm.
understand? And we think that confidence is a thing that you're born with, and you're not born with confidence. You
Mm.
understand? Confidence is gained.
Mm.
You understand? You gain confidence. And the way he was talking about, like, that thing, the notes and stuff, it's his attempt to gain confidence. You understand? We have to gain confidence through ourselves, through the things we believe in, throughout the teachings and all of that.
Mm.
And I think for me, when I was doing research on this topic that we're talking about today, um, I was like, first, what is self-esteem? In order for us to understand, what is self-worth? In
Mm.
order for us to understand self-esteem and all of these things, decision making, we have to understand what self-worth is, right? And I said in mundane terms, it's how much you believe and value yourself. And in Christian terms, it's you value yourself based on one principle, that great beings died for me. You understand?
Mm.
And some people aren't Christian, and some people are Christian. But the way I value myself is based on that principle that I researched last night. Is that
Mm.
it's now there in me. Now I'm gonna start using it. That saying that God died for me.
Mm.
Such a great person died for me.
How can you not have
Yeah, why
confidence?
do I not have confidence in
Mm.
myself, in my abilities? You understand? To do a certain thing, or to not allow someone to do something to me. Why do I not believe in myself?
Yeah.
And if we look at it in mundane stuff, is value. You understand? Value yourself. Because also God wants you to value yourself. You understand? Value yourself. Who you are, what you stand for, what you want. Don't think someone is better than you because they have
What
better
you
things
want.
than
Oh,
you. You
Yeah.
yeah.
understand? Value yourself. You understand? And it's like success also. I think I'm going off topic, but it's also like success. I watched this guy. He won an Oscar award,
Mm-hmm.
and his speech was, "Success has changed over time." If you checked in the olden days, it was whether you could provide for your family. You have a house, you have this, you have a roof. And then coming together, it was you have a car, you have this, you have that. Now it's now jewelry, exposure, lifestyle. What
Fame.
can I give to other people? So success has changed over time. So I feel like success is whether yourself you are good with what you have.
It's defined in different
Yeah,
ways.
you understand. It's
Yeah.
defined by you, what you want, your aspirations. You understand. Do not aspire to be like others. You understand. It's good to aspire to have other things that others have,
Yeah.
because you want those
To do
things.
better.
But don't aspire to have those things because others have them. Aspire to be yourself.
Aspire to inspire before you
Exactly. Yeah, you
Wow.
understand.
Say it
So-
louder. Say it again.
aspire to aspire to inspire before you expire.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, guys.
So-
Word of the day.
What are they?
No,
So
guys, we're
that's
learning at school.
yeah. So that's basically what success. I've integrated that success to self-esteem. You understand, and self-worth. Be who you are. Want what you are, and be different. You understand. If you
Okay.
wanna be, we're all different.
Yeah.
Be that different that you are. You understand?
Embrace it.
Don't fit in. That's how you then find your friends, for example, and those friends that are like you grow together. You understand? She loves God, I love God, and we're friends. You understand?
Friendship grows.
We did the same subjects and stuff. Me and her, we've talked about that plenty of times, and that's how we are friends. You understand? We aspire to be people and wada and all of that. That's life. I think that's how we should view self-esteem, self-worth, and how we can decide on big decisions. Yeah.
I hope when you get home, when this podcast is out, you listen to this again so that you can tackle your biggest decision that you have to make. Because what you're saying is making sense.
Yeah.
Take your own advice because what you're saying is making sense. If you're truly yourself, you can find people who are like you, and you have real great friendships where you don't have to compromise your values to fit in.
And you attract the people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Normally you don't go, you attract them.
So this was a lovely, lovely episode with you guys. It was so lively. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I hope you guys have too, and I hope you guys at home have learned a lot as well. Please like, subscribe. This is the best podcast in the world, guys. Don't
There's
miss
still
out
more
the
to come.
Exactly. There's still more. We'll have more guests. Hopefully, I'm gonna be the host forever. And yeah, stay tuned for the next episode on Triple M Studio. Bye.
It's a wrap.